G'day guys, Rukshan here. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the news vlog. I wanted to bring you a quick update on a story that I shared yesterday about R.I.P. Curl, R.I.P. Curl. Of course, we had this controversy around them replacing women with transgender people in their advertising and marketing towards women. And then there was a bit of a boycott movement that started on the back of this, and it turns out that R.I.P. Curl may be listening to some of this advice they're getting from the general public, because they've silently, very secretively removed this transgender person from their online spaces where they were promoting this person. So the Women's Forum Australia, they've written, after intense public backlash, R.I.P. Curl has removed its post promoting a male surfer in its women's campaign. Well done everyone who called for boycott R.I.P. Curl. This is what happens when we raise our voices together against this mockery of women. Hashtag save women's sports. Now, a lot of female organizations, a lot of women's organizations got together and initiated this boycott, and it looks like it's borne some fruit. Now, this is the individual here, Sasha, that's been removed, and you can see on that it was on the R.I.P. Curl women specific Instagram profile that they were sharing some of this stuff. Can you imagine? They have a specific space designated and designed to promote women, and they've used this transgender person to promote women, this man who is saying that he is now a woman. Anyway, the backlash has come, and R.I.P. Curl is trying to silently change all of this. But I believe in people's minds, when you go down this woke ESG DEI path, people don't forget, and people have very long memories. And I don't think these type of actions, without R.I.P. Curl actually coming forward and making some type of public apology or announcement around this issue, particularly to their women customers, I don't think they'll be able to get away with what they've done in this instance. Now, the next story that I have for you guys is around one of my favorite topics, of course, climate change, topic that we discuss all the time on this show. And this, you would have seen maybe yesterday, there was a post doing the rounds of climate extremists, frankly, in France at the Louvre Museum, throwing soup at the Mona Lisa. Now, that painting's worth about $1 billion, and we all know the significance of that artwork. Luckily, it's behind multiple layers of glass and it's very well protected. But these climate extremists, nonetheless, take these type of actions, and you can see here they've thrown paint onto it, which makes it actually look like a modern piece of art, right? This is what modern art looks like. You could probably sell that for a couple of $100 million if you really wanted to. And they're saying their things. The museum, no police action, there's no security jumping in there and pulling them out straight away. They bring out these covers to block their activism. A lot of people saying it looks very staged, and just the fact that it just seems so coordinated that they could get into this museum in front of one of the most expensive painting, I believe, in the world, and do this type of thing. It just beggars belief. But this is not what I want to talk about when I said climate change. I saw an article today that was being shared online from ABC, and it writes, heat waves and cyclones are affecting the health of unborn babies in Australia. Expert says our changing climate may compromise the health of our babies before they've even exited the womb. There's growing evidence that extreme temperatures and the natural disasters are linked to premature births, stillbirths, and even abnormal gestational weight and size in many parts of the world, including Australia. Now, I'm not going to read fully in detail. You can look up this article. That's the name there. But you can imagine the types of things that they're saying and the type of links that they're making from these studies. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because all these climate change issues that we're seeing discussed in our world today, particularly even the protesting that's being done by these kind of extremist groups, all revolves around governments taking stricter action against traditional industries. And one of those industries is farming. Now, in France, we're seeing a major pushback from farmers, and the government might actually be buckling down because of what the farmers in France are doing. Now, the media in our countries don't show us this. We rarely see protests that are happening around the world, particularly when it pertains to farmers. But the French farmers are all up. They are blocking roads in Paris. They are blocking roads all over the place. They are. This is a good one. They are taking manure, shit literally, and spraying it on government buildings and other associated entities like that, and really just causing a shitstorm, literally, in France. You can see they're also burning up tires. I've seen videos of them releasing livestock into certain towns, and the French government is actually listening. So listen to this article from Reuters. This is just from today, just before. France to push for EU law changes as farmers block Paris highways. France said it would push to ease European Union environmental regulations on fellow farmers' farmland this week as tractors blocked major highways out of Paris on Monday and nationwide farmers' protests intensified. The French government on Friday dropped plans to gradually reduce state subsidies on agricultural diesel and promised a reduction in red tape and easing of environmental regulations, but farmers' organizations said that was not enough and pledged to step up the pressure. The head of France's biggest farming organization said farmers would block all major highways out of Paris at about 30 kilometers from the center. In Brussels too, traffic on the ring road around the capital was disrupted by angry farmers. What we have understood is that as long as the protest is from Paris, the message is not getting through. So they're spreading these protests. There's more convoys coming. You can go to Twitter, especially, or X, and find a lot of these videos because they're not being circulated in our media here, because maybe they're worried that our farmers will start standing up, taking action, and really putting it to the government. So they have to ease up on some of these, frankly, crazy regulations that they put through, which are harming these industries. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the farmers in our country should rise up and get inspired from what they're seeing happening in Europe? Now, the next story that I have, guys, is a interesting one, and that is around Swifties or Taylor Swift. You might be seeing a lot of Taylor Swift these days because a lot of the news covers this gossip around her and her new NFL boyfriend, and American conservatives are somewhat dismayed by the fact that she's, in their sport, right? This NFL that they love. Well, all the country loves NFL, right? They love the Super Bowl. Her team, her boyfriend's team, is actually in the Super Bowl now, and this whole idea around Taylor Swift being a PSYOP is heavily discussed now, and this is around the Democrats. They love using celebrities, right? They've always used celebrities to push and promote their messages, and Taylor Swift, undoubtedly, whether you like her or not, is being pushed to the front right now as one of the biggest celebrities in the world. You only need to look at what's happening with the concert when it comes to Australia, and you had all these magazine covers, right? This is an interesting poster from a news agency in the US where almost every single magazine cover on the front of it is Taylor Swift. And she was, I think, also named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Look, she's a musician. She's a popular musician. She makes music. It is what it is, right? But sorry, my watch went off there. But the thing, what's happening here is that people are saying that she's a psyop by the Democratic Party to push voters towards Joe Biden come the election, because there's a very high demographic of young voters, especially, who go by everything that people like Taylor Swift push through, and it's a very certain crowd. So this is what this article from Daily Mail is talking about. I'm just going to read it to give you guys some context. Taylor Swift could sway 2024 election outcome. New poll finds with a fifth of voters likely to back a candidate endorsed by the singer. Now, before I read that, I think that tells you a lot about the voting standards in the US and the people who are voting, if they're going to be swayed by a singer to vote for Joe Biden, right? This is possibly why the country's in the state that it's in right now and all the issues that they're having, because this is the type of people that they're getting their political advice from. Taylor Swift could heavily influence the way that Americans vote in the presidential election, with a fifth of voters saying that they're likely to back a candidate she endorses. The pop star's stratospheric influence on popular culture may sway the race to the White House, especially as the new Gen Z voters join the electorate this year. In a poll conducted by Redfield and Wilton Strategies for Newsweek, 18% of voters say they're more likely, or significantly more likely, to vote for a candidate endorsed by Taylor Swift. I think if it ends up being Joe Biden v. Trump, which more and more it looks like that's what's going to happen, regardless of everything that's happening around Trump, the celebrities are going to come out in force. You're going to hear them saying they're going to leave the country, right? They're going to go to Canada, which they never did last time either. But you're going to have all of this type of rhetoric. And throw into the mix this lady here, Taylor Swift, and her Swifties and, the delusional fans that she has for her music, but they're willing to listen to her for everything. I think it's possible she could start to sway public opinion, and that's why they're pushing her more and more out into the public. That's why they're having her at the NFL, some people are saying. Let me know your thoughts. Is Taylor Swift a psyop to help the Democratic Party win the election come 2024 November? I am slurring my speech. It's getting very late for me. Thanks for joining in for this video. If you have any suggestions for news stories that I should be covering, please let me know. You can follow along with me on YouTube at The Real Rukshan. You can also hit the subscribe button or hit the notification bell if you're liking the videos that you're watching. You can also find me on Twitter, X, Rumble, Odyssey, Facebook, Instagram, and I think that's all of them, at The Real Rukshan. See you guys next time.